It's Catherine Ann, and I am a galactic channel. Today I'm going to be sharing messages from the Andromedan Council, their global predictions for the month of May 2025. And this is something new that they're bringing through. I've been working with the Andromedan Council for a few years now, and mostly they're providing kind of supportive messages of love. They have told me that always their intention for working with me and working with others on the planet Earth all has to do with providing support, reminding us that we are loved, that we're a really important facet of the universe and the galactic community. But they have requested that we start talking about some global predictions, some activity that will be noticed in this current global community. So thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, share with anybody that you feel would enjoy this content, and we will get started. So the first place we're going to start at is with the global political climate. And they just brought through a few kind of areas to touch on. One thing that I thought was really interesting, just as an aside, I have no idea really what's happening with global politics because it's not a big interest of mine. I kind of am more like in my local environment and getting the bigger picture. I trust that Spirit's always going to bring me the information I need when I need it. So I'm not an expert in politics in any way. However, these are the three things that they brought through strongly for the global political arena. One is that the leader in Hungary needs to really be paying attention to any signs or symptoms of health issues around the chest area, the lungs, and the heart. So we may hear that this leader in Hungary is experiencing some issues. It's definitely something that is stress related and something that they're saying to be aware of for the month of May. In the next global area that they brought up is in relation to China. And so I know that China is a big topic of conversation, whether it's with the tariffs or their impact on just the globe in general. And what they were bringing through is that there is rising discontent from the Chinese people in regards to their government. And so that it's just a reminder that not everything that a government does is in alignment with the everyday people of that society. I think that all of us can agree that things that are happening, I'm in the US, things that are happening in our US government are oftentimes not in alignment with my own values or belief systems, but they are the elected officials. In China, not so much elected officials, but they are the leaders of the country acting on behalf of the population in a sense. And what the Andromedan Council is saying is that there is a rising discontent among the people, in particular with some of the aggressive actions that the Chinese government will be taking in regards to other countries. And really the message above anything was how that is going to come out, in particular in the US environment, is a rise in retaliatory behavior against people who are perceived to be of Chinese descent or of Asian background. And what they're really talking about is it kind of has nothing to do in specific with that person did something. It's more about this rising discontent, this frustration that people are feeling, where they're feeling out of control. They're feeling like, either concern for their financial well-being, concern for their family's well-being, concern for what's going on in the job market, all these different concerns, what's going to happen with tariffs, all the things that are happening. and not being able to appropriately direct that angst and that upset towards maybe the people that are actually making decisions and causing some of the challenges. And so the Andromedan Council was really speaking to a rise in racially motivated attacks or crimes. And it's really about a displaced um, frustration, and has kind of nothing to do with the actual people, as would make sense with any racially motivated attacks, that this isn't about the person, this is about kind of a bigger thing. So at the same time that we're seeing maybe some aggressive or unpleasant behavior with the Chinese government, they're just reminding us that is not representative of the everyday people, and they are not necessarily in agreement with these actions. And as a reminder to not be misplacing that frustration. So unfortunately, that is something that they're bringing forth that is going to be coming about more and more, and I really hope that we get a handle on that. The other element that they're talking about with U.S. politics is kind of no big surprise. It's already been happening, ever since January, but it's this continually stripping away. They showed me almost like when you're whittling a stick and you're cutting away the pieces of wood, and the idea is that you're refining this piece of wood to create what it is you're trying to bring forth, whether it's a sculpture or an arrow or a point. They kind of kept showing me, the creation of something, a refined point. But the problem is that the stripping away is very coarse, very abrupt, very forceful, and it's a cutting away, a crude refining process. And so while it may be that the intentions that are being spoken are that this is about getting rid of waste and refining our government systems and refining bureaucracy, the reality is still very painful, very rough, very crude, and that means cutbacks, dismantling of organizations still that have not yet been completely dismantled. That is going to be really in the forefront in this next month. And in addition to that, the one of the areas where this is going to have a new kind of bigger impact is within the public education system. And so as we know that there's already been plenty of upheaval about the Department of Education and whether it was going to be dismantled and the leadership and all of that stuff. But what we're really talking about is that there are new cuts that are going to be much more painful and much more closer to home. And so I'm not exactly sure, the flow chart of how this is going to be happening. They're just saying that be prepared for deeper and more painful cuts in the public education realm in the United States. Okay, so the next area that they brought forth was with air travel. And so air travel has been such a topic this year. And they didn't really speak to, more accidents. That's not really what they were bringing forth. What they're talking about is an increase in mechanical issues. So more delays, more disruptions, more frustration due to mechanical issues. And they're in particularly highlighting flights in and throughout Europe and then to and from Europe that are going to be the most impacted with these mechanical problems. And so they were showing me planes sitting on the tarmac, people waiting to board, people waiting on the tarmac for extended periods of time where they're trying to fix some mechanical problem. The problems are getting resolved, and it's not necessarily something that is going to be, a dangerous situation that is causing disruption in flight, but lots of delays, maybe lots of rescheduling, flights canceled. And what is happening with this, it's the bigger picture, is that this is part of this kind of spiraling out of control of the airline industry. So what they were showing me is super frustrated customers then coming to the airline employees, the people that are kind of boots on the ground, very frustrated, very upset. It's always a stressful situation when there's delays, you're going to miss your flight, you're not going to arrive, all these things. And then the airline employees having no control over these situations. And they're getting to the point where they're like, I got nothing left to give. I've been harassed and belittled and complained to for too long now. There's nothing I can do about it. And we don't see that the airline companies are actually making any valuable effort in resolving this. And so then there's people, airline employees, they're either quitting or because of all of these delays, and then that reduces the trust in the airlines. It's reducing travel. Then there's layoffs and reductions, and it's kind of this vicious spiral where it's unhappy customers, unhappy employees, it's impacting the airline's bottom line, and then that all kind of keeps going. And so this is something that's going to become much louder in May, especially as we start embarking on people preparing to do kind of summer holiday travel. And then all throughout the summer, this is going to be that constant conversation about delays, mechanical issues, employee strikes, employees going to their unions, not having enough staffing, having to cancel because they don't have enough staffing, all of these kind of like spiraling to where the airline industry is just really, really struggling. The next thing they brought through was really interesting, and I can't really say I fully understand what they were talking about, and so maybe something will come through. You can put it in the comments if you go, oh, this is what they were talking about. But they were talking about a new technology being released in May. It's been under development, but it's going to kind of be in the media. Some sort of technology involving biometrics and some vibrational biometric technology that has to do with supporting mental health. So it's almost like an early warning system or some sort of mechanism where it's connected to biometrics, it's connected to vibrational healing, but it's to support the mental health struggles that so many people are dealing with. It's like they're going warning, warning, warning. So some sort of app or other device where it's going to have the ability to say, hey, stop, focus, it's breathe, or whatever the recommendations are, it's some sort of like, hey, you're getting off kilter and this is a safeguard. So I'll be really interested to see what happens with that, because I don't really fully understand what they're saying. They just kept saying biometric vibrational technology related to early warning system for mental health. So we'll see how that shows up. And then another interesting alert that they have, and for the US in particular, is about food safety, in particular in regards to wheat. And what they were showing me was actually soil that is contaminated soil and I asked, is this all different grains? Is this affecting pasta? Is this affecting all this, anything related to that? They were very specific that has to do with wheat and mass bread recalls. And so just to be aware that, one, be aware of, where you're buying your bread products. Are you confident in the chain of how they're being treated? Are you purchasing, Whole Foods or organic, or is it just part of mass production? And pay attention if you're having, like you're not feeling well, look for some recalls, because for some reason they keep saying contaminated soil and bread product recalls. So We'll see what happens with that. And then everyone knows this year we've been having some really unusual weather patterns. Like this is going to be continuing for a while. But the thing they said for May was thunderstorms in unusual places. Places that we would not typically expect a thunderstorm, much less in May, having thunderstorms. And so they're saying a point of awareness, especially if you are traveling, to be prepared for all different types of weather, because in places you would never expect thunderstorms, they will be appearing in the month of May. And then last but not least, and well, I should say this isn't necessarily the last thing, but it's kind of like the last prediction thing they gave me, which was celebrity news. And so this is something, again, I don't know a lot about, but they're saying that Jay-Z is going to have additional legal troubles surrounding the whole P. Diddy thing. I know that that's not new information as far as that name being pulled into the scandal. But what they're saying is there's going to be additional things coming out, additional things coming to light that are going to tarnish his name. So it's very interesting because they kept showing me like the perspective of Jay-Z is like, this is like another lifetime. This is so not relative. Like, this is not who I am. And I can't even believe this is coming to light because it's like completely out of the current reality for him. However, there are going to be some things that, you know, he was aware of or participated in that are brought to light. There's some accusations made. The council is saying that this is not going to amount to anything, that they will be able to overcome it, but it is going to tarnish his image for a little bit while he's clearing his name, and also, you know, impact just it's not really his fan base. It's like the bigger collective around just wondering, having a little bit more wondering about his integrity. But all of this is going to kind of, they're saying in about a year, it's all going to be resolved. So, and then last but not least, when I asked, is there anything else that you want the collective to know about the month of May, any important information, they said, discernment is so important right now. There is a growing amount of deep fake type of news that's coming out, AI generated or, you know, propaganda. And it's really important to know that you trust your resources of information and that you're able to check the information from multiple sources. So until you feel confident that what you're hearing is being something that you're getting from multiple reliable sources, be very cautious about spreading any information that may not be the full truth. So discernment is such an important topic right now, and it's going to come even louder, is what they're saying, in the month of May. So this is what they offered for us for the month of May. Some interesting insights. We'll have to see. I am not an avid watcher of the news, so if you watch this and you realize that one of the things they brought through, you see it happen, please comment and let us know where you saw that information or what happened or how it came through. Particularly interested in this technology that they were mentioning, the biometric stuff. And then, you know, some of these things feel to me like they are an ongoing process, that they're just going to be a deeper unraveling or a bigger point of conversation in the month of May. But please share and comment. Let me know if you see anything that relates to it. I'd love to have that information. And if you're interested in other information that the Andromedan Council brings through, there are other videos of their previous content. They're kind of inspiring and uplifting messages, and they are telling me that we will be bringing through more predictions in the future. But thank you for spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again.